The Senate will come to order. Senators will take their seats. Those persons not entitled to the privileges of the floor will retire to the gallery. Good morning, Senators. Good morning, guests. The Senators and those in attendance, if you are able, please rise. We will be led in prayer this morning by the Reverend H. Carson Rhine, Jr. of Union Presbyterian Seminary of Richmond. Following the prayer, if everyone will please remain standing, and we will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America by our Senate page, Nahaila Baraka of Enrico.
Before I offer the opening prayer, I'll just express my condolences to the Senate on what happened last night, the shellacking by the House. So prayers are with you. Prayers are with you. Let us pray. Oh God, creator of every good and perfect gift, we thank you for yet another day to serve. You, O God, have created each of us with purpose and calling. We beseech thee to remind us as members of the Senate of that purpose and that calling, to seek ways where citizens of this Commonwealth are able to live the full life they were created to live. Help us keep foremost in our thoughts why we're here and the people we serve. Dear God, we turn the corner heading to the close of this session in just a week. Remind us clearly why we're here and the purpose for our legislating. Keep us from making maneuvers that are not in accord with good governing. Keep us mindful that our work is to enable lives to be affirmed and dreams realized through this legislation. Such outcomes only occur because of your leadership. Blessings on this day you have provided us. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The clerk will call the roll. All those present, please vote aye. The clerk will close the roll.
You have a quorum, Madam President. Senate Journal for Thursday, February 29, 2024.
The senator from Charlotte, Senator Deeds, moves that the reading of the journal be waived. Those in favor of waiving the reading of the journal will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 36, no 0, Rule 36-1.
Ayes 36, no 0, Rule 36-1. The reading of the journal is indeed waived. The clerk will report any communications from the House of Delegates. Chair recognizes the senator from Eastern Fairfax County, Senator Surreville.
Good morning, Madam President.
Good morning.
I would move to waive reading of the House communication.
The question is, shall the reading of the communication from the House be waived? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 35, noes 4.
Ayes 35, noes 4. The reading of the communication from the House of Delegates is waived. The clerk will report any communications from the governor.
We do not have any, Madam President.
We are now in our morning hour, and we will find out who all of our beautiful guests and gallery are. And the normal procedure is your senator will rise and tell us all about you, and hold your applause until after I've officially welcomed you, and then we'll applaud together. And so, with that, I do now call on Senator Hashmi, the senator from Chesterfield.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for an introduction.
The senator may continue.
Thank you, Madam President. This morning we were given such a wonderful invocation by the Reverend H. Carson Rhine, Jr. from the Union Presbyterian Seminary of Richmond. And Reverend Rhine is a graduate of the Presbyterian College from Clinton, South Carolina, and he attained his Master's of Divinity degree from Union Presbyterian Seminary of Richmond, Virginia. He was the organizing pastor of the Summit Church in Stafford, Virginia, as well as Spotsylvania Church in Spotsylvania. He's held many various positions in the Presbyterian Church, including pastor, organizing pastor, general presbyter, and stated clerk. After his retirement from the Presbytery of the James, Reverend Rhine has continued to serve as an adjunct instructor of practical theology at Union Presbyterian Seminary. And he has been an instructor in the Presbyterian polity for Union Presbytery Seminary since the year 2000. Madam President, I ask that we give the warm welcome of the Senate.
Good. It's still morning. Good morning again, Reverend, and thank you for coming. And I believe you've prayed for us about 12 times now, and so you know us very well. And you know that, yes, we are indeed in need of prayer when it comes to our basketball. I'm sorry. So thank you. Thank you very much for coming and all you do in the community to help others. Senators, let us give him the warm welcome of his Senate. Senator Peake, the senator from Lynchburg.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for the purposes of an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. On behalf of the senator from Rocky Mount, I rise. Joining us in the gallery today, we have guests from the Proud Patriots of Smith Mountain Lake. Thank y'all. Founded in June of 2019, the Proud Patriots of Smith Mountain Lake is a dynamic organization in the lake area that seeks to energize, organize voters and citizens in the lake area to educate them on candidates and important issues facing the nation and the Commonwealth. They have hosted many candidate forums from local to statewide to national elections in order to support their goal of an educated citizenry. They have now grown to over 125 members. They've been touring since last night and toured this morning, and I'd ask that the senator from Roanoke County gave them a nice tour this morning. He used to represent a part of the Proud Patriots, but he no longer represents any part of the Proud Patriots area. And therefore, the senator from Rocky Mount and the senator from Lynchburg would ask that you please give them the warm welcome of the Senate.
We'll know who it is that would deign, I guess, to come and represent them. So thank you for doing that. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Senator Favola, the senator from Arlington.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I rise for purposes of an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. With us in the gallery is Dev Tamu. Dev is a student intern in my session office. Dev is attending Virginia Commonwealth University, and she's in an accelerated master's program with a double major in criminal justice and homeland security. She's originally from Tanzania, and Dev is bilingual in Swahili and English. She has been a joy to work with. Her passion and knowledge about criminal justice reform and anti-human trafficking issues has been invaluable. She also cares deeply about women's reproductive health care. I hope you will join me in welcoming Dev And one day, I'm sure Deb will be a member of this august body. She's an amazing woman and has done great work for Team Favola. So thank you, Madam President.
Good morning, Deb. Thank you also for coming, and thank you for working to help the senator be her best. As you know, it's very hard to do this line of work, and really it's a line of service. And so we need all hands on deck, as we like to say, especially as we push through these last few days. Thank you very much. In spite of all your studies, that you found time to come and help. Thank you. Senators, let us give her the warm welcome of her Senate. Senator Obenshain, the senator from Rockingham. Mike.
Madam President, I rise for an introduction.
Senator may continue.
Madam President, it is French Day in the Capitol. And I'm not talking about international Frenches. I'm talking about Frenches from Shenandoah County. I formerly had the great privilege and honor of representing much of the French clan. We have a small fraction of the family here in the gallery today, which is overflowing in the left side of the gallery. Only a handful of the, how many? 140 cousins, and in any event, Madam President, visiting us in the gallery today are members of the family of our very own Senator Timmy French from Shenandoah County. Among those who are here is Orrin French. Wave. Madam President, you probably remember him as a Senate page from the 1980s, I do believe. He is Senator French's first cousin and father of a budding young legal scholar and part-time legislative aide for Timmy French. Also joining us is Shauna French, Orrin's wife, Sherry Stroh-Snyder, Orrin's mother-in-law, Joyce French, Jacob French, Valerie French, Carson Cale, who is a French in disguise, and Maddie Cale, another disguised French. Madam President, I would be grateful if you would extend to this distinguished group of international French visitors the warm welcome of the Senate.
Bonjour, comment allez-vous? And that's about all I know. Thank you for coming, and thank you for giving us the senator so that he can help us here as we move legislation along and serve the people of the great Shenandoah Valley. And he has not yet brought us any milk, but thank you. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Senator Van Valkenburg, the junior senator from Enrico.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I rise for an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Joining us today in the gallery is the leadership of Leading Age Virginia, who is visiting the Capitol today to celebrate their 50th anniversary of an association that has been instrumental in shaping how we deal with aging services in Virginia. They were founded in 1973 by nursing home administrators who recognized the unique needs and resources of nonprofit homes, but they've evolved into an association of not-for-profit aging service organizations dedicating to serving older Virginians and those who care for them with a diverse array of services, from life plan or continuing care retirement communities to affordable housing to assisted living, nursing homes, adult day centers, home health care, hospice, and palliative care. I can keep going, Madam President. They collaborate to help folks that need these services. And 2023 marked 50 years in which they've been at the forefront of coming here and helping us understand the issues. And so they've also shown a commitment to diversity and inclusion and reflected an open-hearted and open-minded approach. And so let us celebrate their invaluable contributions that they've made to the Commonwealth and how we treat folks when they need help.
We are so glad that you are here, and we're glad that you are helping those of us who will one day need your services, for sure. If we keep on living, we will. And that you are helping us when we are most vulnerable. From what I've heard, it's the whole gamut of services. for those who are of a certain age, and we're so glad again that you are doing that. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Senator Durant, the senator from Stafford. Is there any other business to come for the morning hour? No, we're doing it now. We're doing it now. Chair recognizes the junior senator from Virginia Beach, Senator Rouse.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the rules be suspended, that the committee rules be discharged from further consideration of the resolution, and Senate Resolution number 119 be taken up for immediate consideration.
The question is, shall the rules be suspended, the Committee on Rules be discharged from further consideration of the resolution, and Senate Resolution number 119 be taken up for immediate consideration? All in favor of the motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The rules are suspended to take up the resolution for immediate consideration. The junior senator again from Virginia Beach, Senator Rouse.
Madam President, with the recommendation that the motion be rejected, I move that the reading of the resolution be waived.
The question is, shall the reading of the resolution be waived with the recommendation that it be rejected? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The noes have it. The motion is rejected. The clerk will read the resolution.
Senate Resolution number 119. Whereas on February 29th, 2024, the annual House-Senate basketball game, The Game, was held at the Stuart Siegel Center to benefit the Massey Cancer Center. And whereas during such game, the House of Delegates scored a 2-point basket while only having 2 elected members of the House of Delegates on the floor, in violation of the previously agreed rules of the game. And whereas the House of Delegates claims to have won the game only by virtue of the illegal basket, and resolved by the Senate of Virginia, being the upper chamber and the superior body, hereby declares that the outcome of the 2024 House-Senate basketball game was a tie. And be it resolved further that the Clerk of the Senate and Clerk of the House of Delegates shall jointly determine a location for the trophy for such game to reside at a neutral location pending next year's game. Be it further resolved that the Clerk of the Senate shall transmit a copy of this resolution to the Clerk of the House of Delegates and all of its members.
The junior senator from Virginia Beach, Senator Rouse.
Madam President, I move that the Senate Resolution number 119 be agreed to. And speaking to the motion.
The senator has the floor.
You know, Madam President, we gave our best effort out there last night. We worked hard. It was the most exciting game, most thrilling game these chambers have ever seen. It was a defensive highlight game, as we like to call it, Madam President. In fact, Madam President, I'd like to thank you for coming out and cheering us on in the big game last night. But unfortunately, the members from the lower chamber pulled a fast one over on us. I think I even saw some high school players out there, but we were not checking IDs. Madam President, without further ado, I do want to thank all the senators who came out there, and even Senator French and his big boots was on the courts. So with that, Madam President, I move that the Senate resolution be agreed to.
Just a privilege of the chair. Never have I seen more effort for less gain. The question is, shall the resolution be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The noes have it. Just checking. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. The resolution, Senate Resolution 119, is agreed to.
Madam President.
The senior senator from
Thank you, Madam President. And regardless of the outcome here, just remember this. We still have proxies and 4-year terms. Thank you.
The clerk will call the calendar.
Senate calendar for Friday, March the 1st, 2024. Bills in conference. House Bill 14, conference report.
Chair recognizes the junior.
Madam President.
Chair recognizes Senator Surville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Thank you. A parliamentary inquiry.
The senator may state it.
Thank you, Madam President. I neglected to make an announcement at the beginning of today's calendar, which I think might be helpful in this scenario, and I just wanted to see if you could confirm it for me as a parliamentary inquiry. But isn't it accurate that that members can find copies of the conference reports as they're reported by accessing them through their electronic calendar and clicking on the blue button on their electronic calendar? That's where you'll find them. We don't print them up and put them on desks like they do in the other body. You have to actually go in your online system and find them there. Isn't it accurate that's where we find our conference reports?
As the senator is so confident of his statement, I would agree.
Okay, thank you, Madam President.
Senator Eben, the senator from Alexandria.
I move that we agree to the conference report on House Bill 14 and speaking to that.
Senator has the floor.
This is the same as Senate Bill 381. We agreed on the same delayed enactment clause that appears in the version of 381 that we've already passed. I move the bill pass, or the report be accepted.
The question is, shall the conference committee report on House Bill 14 be agreed to? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The Senate adopts the conference committee report on the bill.
Madam President.
Chair recognizes the senator from Isle of Wight, Senator Jordan.
Thank you, Madam President. May I request a return to the morning hour for a brief introduction of folks that just got into the gallery?
Senator, the tradition of the Senate is that we would have to wait until we go through the calendar. That's all right.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you.
Page 6, conference committee report on Senate Bill 344.
Senator Rouse.
I'm sorry, Madam President, on Senate Bill 212.
Senator Rouse, the junior senator from Virginia Beach.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the adoption of the conference report and speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. I am proud of the work we did on this conference report, which is a critical small business issue in Virginia. The conference report provides a strong framework for regulating, taxing, and enforcing skill games to help small business owners benefit from sustainable supplemental income. This report is an enhancement of the House and Senate bills with strong guardrails and framework to regulate and tax skill game market while rooting out illegal gambling and many casinos. This conference report represents a true compromise, and that means everyone is not happy. We kept all the language from the House substitute that aligns with skill game market and is comparable to other gaming policies. We also addressed the concerns that we heard along the way, such as strengthening enforcement for prevention of underage access, contract protection for store owners, and addressing the tax rate and setting a limit on the number of terminals per store. With these amendments, I believe we have achieved the intent of the bill, which is to help small businesses and optimize revenue for the Commonwealth. Here's specifically what's in the skill games report. Conference report, a cap of 4 games per ABC license, establishment and 10 per truck stop. This is a reduction from the prior regulatory period for skill games in the original bill. A 25% tax rate for these games, which will enable Virginia to collect critical revenue while also allowing small businesses benefit from sustainable supplemental income. A voluntary exclusion program, which mirrors the existing program for the Virginia Lottery. There are also provisions to ensure people under the age of 21 are not able to play the games, including a Class 1 misdemeanor for anyone who allows a minor to play the games. ABC will be the regulatory agency for the first 2 years, and then Lottery will take over once they are able to develop regulations. Provisions that protect small business owners from prohibiting inducements, requiring use agreements that don't lock small business into long contracts, and more. And the bill strengthens enforcement by ensuring all registrants undergo a thorough background check, and there is a Class 1 misdemeanor for anyone that falsifies records to obtain a registration. This conference report also sets up a clear skill game reporting system to ensure we can monitor and track every dollar that goes into a skill game and every dollar that is paid out. This will protect our Commonwealth and ensure that the games are functioning appropriately.
Madam President.
For what purpose does the senator from Roanoke rise?
Will the senator from Virginia Beach yield for a question?
Will the senator from Virginia Beach yield?
Thank you, Madam President.
Senator yields. Senator Suderline has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. I thank the senator. I'd like to take this by for the day, so that we can see it. I don't know why we're doing conference reports on today, so I would just respectfully ask if we could.
Is that a motion?
And that would be no. This is a request. I don't believe it would be proper for me to make a motion while he's speaking. But I don't know why we're doing conference reports on Friday when we have a full docket of bills and we also have a judicial interviews. I think it would make sense that we allow these conference reports to be out here, us to be able to look at them instead of running so quickly. So that would be my request to the senator.
Senator Rouse has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to finish speaking to my bill.
The senator may continue.
Thank you, Madam President. This conference report also sets up a clear skill game reporting system to ensure we can monitor and track every dollar that goes into a skill game and every dollar that is paid out. This substitute also includes definitions and framework that have been amended to meet the definition of skill games, keeping the bill narrowly focused and aligned with the skill game market. And one thing to note on this Congress report is the baseline. There will be extensive rulemaking process for additional requirements and rule and restrictions. Madam President, I would ask that this bill go by temporarily. I know members may be having an issue of uploading it on their computer, so if it can go by temporarily.
Without objection, Senate Bill 212 goes by temporarily.
Senate Bill 344, Conference Committee report.
Senator Reeves, the senator from Orange.
Madam President, I was going to speak to the bill, but since it's gone by temporarily, I'll yield my...
This is your bill, Senator.
Oh, it's my bill up. Thank you, Madam President.
I understand the senator had wanted to speak to the junior senator from Virginia Beach's bill.
Thank you, Madam President. I would move that we adopt the conference committee report. And what this does is
Senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. This actually takes it back to the Senate version as it passed the original time. It took out the parts that I spoke about yesterday that had financial implications. That's been stripped out of it, so it's back to the original Senate version. I'd ask that it pass.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion.
The senator from Roanoke, Senator Suderline, may continue.
I move that the conference report go by for the day.
All conference reports, sir?
I don't believe that. Yes.
This is the only one.
This is the only one, I believe, left.
So I'm just
Or-
asking for this one then.
The question is,
Madam President, I would object to that motion.
voice. Tara.
Madam President, hold on.
The question is,
Madam President,
Chair recognizes the senator from Hanover, Senator McDougal.
Madam President, seems to be some discussion around me that needs to be occurring in a calmer direction. So could this go by temporarily? Let's work through the docket, see if we can have some conversations to come to a agreed upon place.
Without objection, Senate Bill 344 goes by temporarily to find an agreed upon place.
Unfinished business, House. House Bill 576. The House has rejected the Senate substitute.
Senator Eben, the senator from Alexandria.
Madam President, I move that we insist on the Senate substitute and request a committee of conference.
The question is, shall the Senate insist on its substitute and request a committee of conference on the bill? All in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The Senate insists and respectfully requests a committee of conference.
House Bill 1022, the House has rejected the Senate amendment.
Senator Sorovell, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that we insist and request a committee conference on this so we can get this small change straightened out.
The question is, shall the Senate insist on its amendment and request a committee of conference? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, no 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. The Senate insists.
Conferees on the part of the Senate is named by the chair of courts of justice, Senator Sorovell or Senators Sorovell, Bagby, and Stewart. House Bill 470.
That was the one you just read.
Okay. House Bill 470.
Next page.
We didn't vote on that.
You read just conferees for 470.
I'm glad it's Friday. Senate Bill 2 is passed the House with a substitute.
Senator Deeds, the senator from Charlottesville.
Madam President, I move that we agree with the House substitute. This substitute form basically puts the bill in identical form to House Bill 2 that passed the Senate just the other day. Now, it passed the Senate on the 28th of February 2019. It was a partisan vote. This is a assault weapons ban. I want everyone to be clear about what the bill does. Okay. I move that it pass.
The question is, shall the Senate agree with the House substitute for Senate Bill 2? The question is, shall the Senate agree for the House substitute for Senate Bill 2? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 21, noes 19.
Ayes 21, noes 19. The Senate concurs.
Senate Bill.
Madam President.
What purpose does the senator from Hanover rise?
Madam President, it appears that the LIS system is not loading so members can see some of the amendments coming up. Can we have a 10-minute recess to see if that can be remedied so people can see the amendments that they're voting on?
The Senate stands at recess for 10 minutes. Madam Clerk.
During the recess, we doubled the resources for our website, so it is hopefully faster. We would suggest that you only hit your refresh button one time and be patient. Give it time to boot up. This is a huge calendar, and it's going to take it a little bit longer, but every time you punch that refresh button, you set it back. One refresh. Okay? If you have questions, Jonathan, Linda, and Kyle are all three on the floor. Thank you. Introduce that group. Do you want to? Sure, let's get them out of here.
We will return to the morning hour, as we have been in a bit of a different situation. And so, Chair calls on Senator Jordan, the senator from Isle of Wight.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for a brief introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Today in the gallery, we actually have a group of homeschool students from my district and across southern Hampton Roads and the peninsula, but their home church is from the home of Senator Locke, which is Victory Life Church. But they have traveled as far as Matthews County all the way down to Isle of Wight County, and they range in ages from preschool all the way to high school, and they meet diligently 2 to 3 times a week for their studies and to get together in camaraderie. And I hope that it would be the will of this body to welcome the homeschool students from Victory Life Church to our capital. Thank you, Madam President.
Well, good afternoon, homeschool students. So you've seen a little bit of the process that we have here, which is normal. You've seen a possible return to the morning hour, then you've seen an objection. You have seen a possible vote on the objection, which we've not done since the session started. And it's such an exciting part of the process that I think. And we're so glad that you're here. And maybe one day you will be a part here, sitting in these seats, or even greater. We're so glad you're here. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Again, Madam Clerk.
Senate Bill 5, the House has passed the House with a substitute. Sorry.
Senator Stanley, the senator from Franklin County.
Thank you, Madam President. I now move that we concur with the House substitute to SB 5 and speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Members of the body, if you recall, this is the STEM-C Robotics Competition Scholarship Fund. There was some verbiage in it that made it a grant or a fund, and that the House doesn't like the word fund, and so they wanted it to be a scholarship grant. The other thing they changed in it was to, if you noticed, I had eligibility of the school divisions, or the schools in particular, based on a formula of free or reduced lunch percentage of their total population of the student body. They removed that and made those guidelines be determined by the Virginia Department of Education. But they understood, as Delegate Rasul said, that this is a scholarship program for schools that are in underprivileged, underserved areas to get our children interested in the robotics programs and to be able to compete on a statewide level. So for those reasons, Madam President, I now renew my motion that we concur with the House substitute in SB 5.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the House substitute? All in favor of concurring will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. Senate concurs.
Senate Bill 88 has passed the House with a substitute.
Senator Locke, the senator from Hampton.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that we concur with the House substitute and speaking to that.
The senator may continue.
Thank you, Madam President. What the House substitute does, it merely clarifies the meeting exemption process for DCGS hearings. Again, I move that we concur with the House substitute.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the substitute proposed by the House of Delegates? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, no 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. The Senate concurs with the House.
House Bill 95 has passed the House with amendments.
Senator Franklin, the senator from Senator Stanley, the senator from Franklin.
Senator Franklin, the senator from Stanley, yes. Madam President and members of the body, I now move that we concur with the House amendments to SB 95 and speaking to that motion.
Senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the body. If you recall, this is the bill which dealt with the preliminary breath test when there was a traffic stop. Preliminary breath tests are not admissible to determine intoxication in a court of law, but can be used to determine probable cause to establish an arrest. Probable cause is challenged with motions to suppress as pretrial matters or even at trial. And what we had in the code was basically a PBT is not admissible, and the person who has the PBT given to them has the right to observe the tests and the test results. That is within the code. But there was no provision that they be advised of that with any kind of conclusive exclusion if they were not advised of their rights. So this bill fixed that. In the bill, in the amendments that were made, in parts of the bill, it said that the defendant shall be entitled to have the right, or shall be entitled to observe the test. They have changed that from be entitled and instead have inserted in two places have the right. So minor changes, but stronger verbiage, I think, makes the code better. And for those reasons, Madam President, I now renew my motion that we concur with the House amendments on SB 95.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the amendments proposed by the House of Delegates? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The Senate concurs with the House.
Senate Bill 144 has passed the House with a substitute.
Senator Carol Foy, the senator from Eastern Prince William.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that the Senate concur with the House substitute in speaking to that motion.
Senator may continue.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, the intention of this legislation is to close a loophole that currently exists within our judicial system that bypasses a defendant's right to a preliminary hearing. This bill does not establish the right to a preliminary hearing. That right already exists in the code. The Senate version added a hearing if probable cause wasn't found. The House version removed it. And while the version that left the Senate has stronger language, we were able to find more peace in the valley with the version laid out in the House substitute. I restate my motion that the Senate concur with the House substitute.
Question is, shall the Senate concur with the substitute proposed by the House of Delegates? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 23, no 17.
Ayes 23, no 17. The Senate concurs.
Senate Bill 151 has passed the House with a substitute.
Senator Suderline, the senator from Roanoke.
Madam President, I move that the Senate concur with the House substitute.
The senator may continue.
Thank you, Madam President. This was the bill that had the different fees. It went back and forth, how many different fees to include. You can see before you, it's not as big as it was when we started, but this is where we are now. We'll still offer some relief to some folks with DMV fees, so I hope it'll be the pleasure of the body to pass the bill.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the substitute proposed by the House of Delegates? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, no 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. The Senate concurs with the House.
Senate Bill 175 is passed the House with amendment.
Senator DeSteff, the senior senator from Virginia Beach.
Madam President, I move that we concur with the House amendment in speaking to that.
Senator may continue.
Madam President, if we can remember, this is the bill that dealt with the rights to perform marriage in the state of Virginia. And this was specifically for statewide legislators and former governors and officials of that matter. And Madam President, the House put on here that we should ensure that they are a resident of the Commonwealth, and I would agree to that. So with that, Madam President, I move that we concur with the House amendments.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the House amendments? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 35, noes 5.
Ayes 35, noes 5. The Senate concurs with the House of Delegates.
Senate Bill 180 has passed the House with a substitute.
Madam President, I move that we concur with the House substitute in speaking to that.
Senator has the floor.
And Madam President, we'll recall that what this bill originally did was it allowed for alcohol beverages to be consumed in a performing arts facility that had more than 5,000 seats in the city of Virginia Beach. And so we don't have the Christmas tree effect continue on these type of bills. What they did was we went to more of a universal approach, suggesting that any performing arts facility that has more than 500 seats and meets the rest of the type of requirements in the original bill. So with that, Madam President, I move that we concur with the House substitute.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the substitute proposed by the House of Delegates? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The Senate concurs.
Senate Bill 207 has passed the House with a substitute.
Senator Diggs, the senator from York.
Madam President, with a recommendation that the Senate reject the substitute, I move that the substitute be accepted.
With an explanation.
Thank you, Madam President.
The senator has the floor.
The House substitute deleted a clause that required a sworn statement from a request for records pertaining to police employment from out of state. The House pulled that clause, and it was in the Senate version.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the House substitute with the recommendation that it be rejected? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 0, noes 40.
Ayes 0, noes 40. The House version is rejected.
Senate Bill 214 has passed the House with amendments.
Senator Sturdivant, the senator from Colonial Heights.
Madam President, I move that we concur with the House amendments and speaking to that.
The senator may continue.
Madam President, this bill made technical changes to the garnishment summons service section of the code over in the House at the request of the State Corporation Commission. We included a delayed enactment of January 1, 2025, and then also another technical revision that the garnishment designee identified be on file with the garnishment designee. And with that, I move that we concur with the House amendments.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the House of Delegates amendments? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The Senate concurs with the House of Delegates.
Senate Bill 220 has passed the House with a substitute.
Senator Favola, the senator from Arlington.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that we concur with the House substitute and speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. What the House substitute does is it adds three things to the underlying bill that passed the Senate 40 to 0. It removes from the legislation a definition of a state IEP and provides for a regulatory process to determine what that should look like. We also remove the requirement that each school system should have a designated employee has a parent liaison for families with children with disabilities. We have asked that a faculty member be assigned, so it doesn't have to be an individual designee. It could be a faculty member who has other responsibilities. But the key fact is we do want a liaison with our parents and families. And lastly, the House substitute aligns the enactment clauses in the bill to actually track the timing of when the state IEP contract will conclude, when a new one would likely be issued, and the value of having an advisory committee to guide any further state action on IEP requirements. So with those changes, Madam President, I think our bill is enhanced, and I hope it is the wish of the body to concur with the House substitute.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the substitute proposed by the House of Delegates? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The Senate concurs.
Senate Bill 256 has passed the House with a substitute.
Senator Surville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. With the recommendation that we reject the House substitute, I'd move to concur with the House substitute. Speak of that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, this is the insurance bad faith bill for uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage. House made a couple edits to it which are problematic. Number one, the enactment clause on the bill is kind of unworkable the way it's phrased. The other change they made is the instead of the penalty from a bad faith judgment being double the amount of the verdict up to $500,000, they just said it's up to $500,000. So a judge could award $1 or up to $500,000, and that kind of changes the substance of the bill. But either way, the enactment clause definitely needs some work. So this thing needs to go to Congress to get cleaned up a tiny bit, and I would hope we could reject this so we could put it in that posture.
The question is, with the recommendation it be rejected, shall the substitute from the House be agreed to? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 0, noes 40.
Ayes 0, noes 40. The House of Delegates substitute is rejected.
Senate Bill 321 has passed the House with amendments.
Chair recognizes Senator Rome, the senator from Western Prince William.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that we concur with the House amendments and speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, so these amendments came as a recommendation of staff counsel from the House Courts Justice Committee. They're more or less clarifying amendments. Line 33, what we've done here is just insert in any civil, administrative, civil, or criminal proceeding, because the existing code is only drawn to criminal proceeding. Line 34, after locality, they struck in any administrative, civil, or criminal proceeding, and they inserted or in the case of a civil proceeding, a party to such proceeding. And then finally, in line 42, because this part in particular was drawn to deal with criminal part, but civil would not fall into the same area of statute, what this one does says is it inserts, or in the case of a civil proceeding, a party to such proceeding. This bill originally passed the Senate 40-0, and it passed with 71 votes in the House, and so I renew my motion to concur.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the amendments proposed by the House of Delegates? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, noes 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The Senate concurs.
Senate Bill 334 has passed the House with a substitute.
Senator Salim, the senator from Central Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the Senate concur with the House substitute, and speaking to that motion.
Senator may continue.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Bill 334 aims to protect defendants' right by ensuring that certain provision in plea agreements cannot waive constitutional rights or hinder expungement and sealing options. The substitute adds to the shall not section that it does not apply to any plea agreements in a case involving a sexual offense where the victim is under 18 years of age. I reiterate my motion that the Senate concur with the House substitute.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the substitute proposed by the House of Delegates? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 21, noes 19.
Ayes 21, noes 19. The Senate concurs.
Senate Bill 336 has passed the House with a substitute.
Again, Senator Rome, the senator from Western Prince William.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move we concur with the Senate, with the House substitute, and speaking to that motion.
Senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, what this House substitute does here is it narrows the original bill that we passed here from the Senate regarding where speed cameras can actually be placed in intersections where there has been at least one fatality since 2014. So what we did in the Senate version of this, once we got this bill out of this chamber, was we basically just said, hey, if you have an intersection on a non-interstate highway where there's been fatality since 2014, that's where you would allow the speed camera. Now, some members had concerns about that, and so once we got over to the other side, what we did is we narrowed that down to do a few things. So number one, existing code allows speed cameras already within 750 feet of what's called a school crossing zone. So what this does is this extends that out by 250 feet, but only for only near intersections where there's been a fatality since 2014 and there is also a crosswalk there. So basically what this means is that this is going to only be applying in areas near schools. And the second thing that we did with this is we know we had some concerns that came up in transportation, especially the Center for Colonial Heights raised an issue that actually that we both agree on this, which is we don't want localities to just put these things up in lieu of infrastructure fixes that actually fix the problem, permanently. And so what we've done here is we said any revenue that is generated from the fines from speed camera violations would go to the Virginia Highway Safety Improvement Program. And this, number one, it means that no locality can just turn it into a speed trap so that anyone can just, try to turn it into a revenue generator. And this will allow basically more money to go into the program that allows for the infrastructure improvements that we need to fix dangerous intersections in the first place. So with that, Madam President, I renew my motion to concur with the House substitute.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the House of Delegates substitute? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 22, noes 17.
Ayes 22, no 17. The Senate concurs.
Senate Bill 400 has passed the House with a substitute.
Senator Deeds, the senator from Charlottesville.
Madam President, I move that we concur with the House substitute, and I'd like to speak to that.
The senator may continue.
Madam President, members of the Senate, you will recall that this bill had to do with allowing the sale of mixed beverages in entertainment venues in the cities of Charlottesville and Richmond. The House substitute simply conforms this to a larger bill from from Delegate Krizik, House Bill 1349, which passed this Senate on the 20th of February, 40-0, that allows the sale of mixed beverages at other venues around the Commonwealth of Virginia, not Lynchburg. Again, I move that you agree to the House substitute.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the substitute proposed by the House of Delegates? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, noes 2.
Ayes 38, noes 2. The Senate concurs with the House.
Senate Bill 424 has passed the House with amendment.
Senator McDougal, the senator from Hanover.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move the Senate concur with the House amendment and speaking to the motion.
The senator has the floor.
Madam President, the House did not like our wording choice of either before or simultaneous, and they preferred the word contemporaneous. So we are going to agree with them. The contemporaneous, pardon me.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the amendment proposed by the House of Delegates? All in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, noes 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The Senate concurs with the House.
Senate Bill 464 has passed the House with a substitute.
Senator Stewart, the senator from King George.
Thank you, Madam President. I move we concur with the House substitute in speaking to that.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. This bill was actually, we had a bill in the Senate, bill in the House, and they were both designed to take monies from any offshore royalties or rent as a result of the wind farms and put them in a fund to help displaced fishermen. As a result of that, we amended it in Senate Finance, which was kind of frustrated the purpose, and so I'd like to accept the House substitute, which puts the bill back in its original form. Does not affect our budget this year. It would only be prospective. I have confirmed with Madam Chair of Senate Finance, the senator from Portsmouth, that she's okay with that, and I also confirmed it wouldn't have any impact on our budget with Senate Finance staff. So with that, I move we concur with the House amendment.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the substitute proposed by the House of Delegates? All in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, noes 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The Senate concurs with the House of Delegates.
Senate Bill 502 has passed the House with a substitute.
The senator from Eastern Fairfax County, Senator Sorreville.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Bill 502 was the bill that had to do with protective orders against minors living in the home. And,
your motion, Senator?
I'm sorry. With the recommendation that we reject the House amendments, I move that we concur with.
The senator may continue.
Speaking to that motion, this bill has to do with protective orders against minors living in the same home, and also whether parents can file chins petitions. The House had a very different approach. We've since worked out a compromise, but we haven't had time to slap it on as an amendment to either bill, so we have to do it in conference. So we need to reject this to put it in proper posture to do that. And that's what. So I'd hope we reject this substitute.
With the recommendation that it be rejected, the question is, shall the Senate concur with the substitute proposed by the House of Delegates? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 0, noes 40.
Ayes 0, noes 40. The Senate does not concur.
Senate Bill 505 has passed the House with amendment.
Senator Subramaniam, the senior senator from Loudoun.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that we concur with the House amendment and speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. The House amendment simply It's slightly technical, but also a little bit substantive in that it clarifies that the defendant can also consent to staying incarcerated if that's strategically in their best interest. And there's been some cases where that was the case, but nothing else about the bill has changed. So I hope that we move the amendment, move the passage of the bill.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the House of Delegates amendment? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 21, noes 19.
Ayes 21, noes 19. The Senate concurs with the House.
Senate Bill 506 is passed the House with a substitute.
Senator Surreville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. I move to concur with the House substitute and speak to that motion.
The senator may continue.
Thank you, Madam President. This is the bill that has to do with General Counsel's office at our colleges, universities, state-supported colleges, universities. The main thing the House did to the bill was they basically deleted the provisions about faculty members and staff members serving as non-voting members of the Board of Visitors. Otherwise, the bill is pretty much the same as when it left the Senate, so it has less in it than it did when it was here. And I would hope we could pass this bill, get onto the governor's desk.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the House substitute on Senate Bill 506? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 21, noes 19.
Ayes 21, noes 19. The Senate concurs with the substitute proposed by the House of Delegates.
Senate Bill 522 has passed the House with a substitute.
The senator from Norfolk, who we are so glad to see again, Senator Williams Graves.
Thank you, Madam President. I move, Madam President, with the recommendation that the House amendments be rejected. I move that the amendments be agreed to, and speaking to that motion.
The senator may continue.
Thank you, Madam President. The House passed this bill, my SB 522, with the substitute and rolled it into House Bill 797. The two bills are very different. One refers to purchase and one refers to concealed carry. So I renew my motion that we reject the substitute.
With a recommendation that it be rejected, the question is, shall the Senate accept the House of Delegates' proposed substitute? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 0, noes 40.
Ayes 0, noes 40. The House substitute is rejected.
Senate Bill 544 has passed the House with amendment.
Chair recognizes the senior senator from Enrico, Senator Bagby.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that the Senate concur with the House amendments and speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. The House amendments updates the title of the bill to align with the content of the substitute, and I will renew my motion to concur.
Question is, shall the Senate concur with the House of Delegates' proposed amendment? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 24, noes 16.
Ayes 24, no 16. The Senate concurs with the House.
Senate Bill 644 has passed the House with amendment.
The junior senator from Loudoun, Senator Perry.
Madam President, I move that the Senate concur with the House amendment in speaking to that motion.
The senator may continue.
This bill is a bill that relates to rural roads, gravel roads, and permitting VDOT to use other methods to keep those roads up to snuff. Besides paving them, the amendments that came over from the House just simply require people to work with the Department of Transportation on what the best pathway is to deal with those roads. I renew my motion that we concur with the House amendments.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the amendment proposed by the House of Delegates? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The Senate concurs with the House.
Senate Bill 724 has passed the House with a substitute.
Senator Stanley, the senator from Franklin.
Thank you, Madam President. I now move that we concur with the House substitute for Senate Bill 724 and speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you. Then, Madam President, members of the body, this was a bill that would allow a permanent facility that we have in Floyd County where Floyd Fest is going to be held to have an annual liquor license. We had portions of the code that would actually allow you to Christmas tree that on. So specifically, when it first went out of this body, it addressed Floyd County in particular. What they've now done is generalized it, and it kind of falls in line with the senator from Orange's bill as well, which basically says in certain areas where there have seating areas and these facilities operate something such as Floyd Fest, that they shall be entitled to obtain an annual liquor license from the board of ABC. So made it a little more general, didn't make it so specific, so we didn't have to keep putting on more balls under the Christmas tree, and streamlined, I think, the process so that not just where Floyd Fest is, but any of those other places where hippies love to congregate can also have alcoholic beverages. So for those reasons, Madam President, I renew my motion that we concur with the House substitute for SB 724.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the proposed House of Delegates substitute? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, no 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. The Senate concurs.
Senate Bill 217 has passed. The House insists on its substitute and requests a committee of conference.
Senator Locke, the senator from Hampton.
Madam President, I accede to the request for a committee of conference on this great bill.
The question is, shall the Senate accede and respectfully request a committee of conference on the bill? All in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The Senate accedes to the request for a committee of conference.
Conferees on the part of the Senate is named by the Chair of General Laws and Technology, Senator Eben, or Senators Locke, Aird, and Pillion. Senate Bill 393. The House insists on its substitute and requests a committee of conference.
Chair recognizes Senator Pekarsky, the senator from Western Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the Senate accede to the House's request for a committee of conference.
The question is, shall the Senate accede to the request? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
The Senate accedes to the request for a committee of conference.
Senate Bill 530. Conferees on the part of the Senate is named by the Chair of Finance and Appropriations, Senator Lucas, or Senators Pekarsky, Hashmi, and Locke. Senate Bill 536. The House insists on its amendments and requests a committee of conference.
Senator Bagby, the senior senator from Enrico.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that the Senate accede to the House request for a committee of conference on the bill.
The question is, shall the Senate accede? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The Senate accedes to the request for a committee of conference.
Conferees on the part of the Senate is named by the Chair of Commerce and Labor, Senator Deeds, or Senators Bagby, Eben, and Reeves. Senate Bill 626. The House insists on its substitute and requests a committee of conference.
Senator Obenchain, the senator from Rockingham.
Madam President, I move that the Senate accede to the House request for a committee of conference.
The question is, shall the Senate accede? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The Senate accedes to the request for a committee of conference.
We are awaiting House action on the remaining bills in that section, but the conferees on Senate Bill 626, is named by the Chair, Rehabilitation and Social Services, Senator Fafola, are Senators Pillion, Perry, and Carol Foy. Uncontested calendar. House bills on third reading.
Senator Surville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that all the House bills on third reading on the uncontested calendars on pages 27 through 41. House bills 18 through 1466 be advanced to their final passage in the block after the adoption of any amendments thereto. That any senator desiring to move bill from the block shall do so after the clerk has read the number of the bill.
The question is, shall House bills on the uncontested calendar, third reading, pages 27 through 41, House bills 18 through House bills 1466, be placed upon their final passage in the block with any adoption of the amendments thereto, with the understanding that any senator desiring a bill to be removed from the block will do so after the clerk has read the number of the bills. Those in favor of that motion will record their votes, will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. The bills are before us in the block. The clerk will now read the number of the bills.
House Bill 18, House Bill 36, House Bill 62, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations, House Bill 102, with the sub.
Senator Marsden, the senior senator from Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the substitute be agreed to.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
House Bill 402, reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice with a substitute, and from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with a substitute.
Senator Surville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. With the recommendation to be rejected, I move the substitute from the Committee on Courts of Justice.
The question is, shall the substitute from the Committee for Courts of Justice be agreed to with the recommendation that it be rejected? Those in favor of that motion will say aye. Those opposed, no.
No.
The substitute is rejected. Senator Surville.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the substitute from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
The question is, shall the substitute from Finance and Appropriations be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
House Bill 172, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. House Bill 199, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. House Bill 223, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources with a substitute.
Senator Marsden, the senior senator from Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the committee substitute be agreed to.
The question is, shall the committee substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
House Bill 233, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with a substitute.
The senator from Portsmouth, Senator Lucas.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that we accept the committee substitute.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
House Bill 279, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. House Bill 380, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. House Bill 555, reported from the Committee on Rehabilitation and Social Services with a substitute, and from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with a substitute.
Senator Favola, the senator from Arlington.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, with the recommendation that we reject the substitute from the Rehabilitation and Social Services Committee, I move that we agree to the substitute.
The question is, shall the substitute from Rehab and Social Services be agreed to with the recommendation that it be rejected? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no.
No.
The substitute is rejected. Senator Favola.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that the substitute from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations be agreed to.
The question is, shall the substitute now from the Finance and Appropriations Committee be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. Substitute is agreed to.
House Bill 596 was reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with a substitute.
Senator Marsden, the senior senator from Fairfax.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the committee substitute be agreed to.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
House Bill 633, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. Reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice with a substitute, and from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
Senator Surville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the committee substitute.
Question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
House Bill 640, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. House Bill 641, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. House Bill 892, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. House Bill 893, reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice.
Senator
from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with amendments.
Senator Surville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the amendments from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
The question is, shall the amendments be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The committee amendments are agreed to.
House Bill 937, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. House Bill 1058, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources, and from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. House Bill 1075, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. House Bill 1084, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. House Bill 1112, reported from the Committee on Transportation and from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. House Bill 1125, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with a substitute.
Senator Lucas, the senator from Portsmouth.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that the committee substitute be agreed to because it just conforms to Senate Bill 217, which is. I'm done.
House Bill 1187. Sorry, I'm done too.
We are almost done here. The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to on House Bill 1125? Those in favor of that motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
House Bill 1187, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. House Bill 1224, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. House Bill 1246, reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice with amendment and from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
Senator Surville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Madam President, I move the committee amendments.
The question is, shall the committee amendments be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The committee amendments are agreed to.
House Bill 1254, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. House Bill 1268, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. House Bill 1457, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with a substitute.
Senator Lucas, the senator from Portsmouth.
Madam President, I move that the committee substitute be agreed to.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
House Bill 1466, reported for the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources.
The question is, shall the House bills in the block pass? All in favor of the motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The bills in the block pass.
Regular calendar. House bills on third reading.
Senator Sorovell, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that all the bills on the yellow sheet of paper that have been distributed to everybody go by for the day. And speaking to that motion.
The senator may continue.
Thank you, Madam President. Ladies and gentlemen, the Senate, the bills that have been listed here on the yellow sheet are all bills that are on third regular that do not have cognates. They all represent new policy. And we got the House of Delegates adjourned, I think, about 20, 30 minutes ago. We got a bunch of people waiting to do judicial interviews. We're trying to speed this docket up a little bit so we can get on with business and focus on this heavier stuff for Monday. That's the motion.
Would the senator like to read the bills in the block?
Madam Clerk, do you need me to read them out or is handing out the yellow sheet of paper or no?
For the journal?
It's fine to go by this.
The clerk will now read the numbers of the bills in the block.
What? If there, these are the bills in the block. Page 43, House Bill 73. Page 46, House Bill 250. Page 46, House Bill 265. Page 47, House Bill 333. Page 49, House Bill 457. Page 50, House Bill 466. Page 50, House Bill 623. Page 51, House Bill 637. Page 51, House Bill 797. Page 52, House Bill 798. Page 52, House Bill 799. Page 53, House Bill 803. Page 53, House Bill 838. Page 54, House Bill 861. Page 55, House Bill 916. Page 55, House Bill 939. Page 56, House Bill 959. Page 56, House Bill 985. Page 56, House Bill 1002. House Bill 57, 1171. Page 58, 1244. Page 59, House Bill 1287. Page 59, House Bill 1354. Page 60, House Bill 1458.
The question is, shall the bills in the block go by for the day? Those in favor of that motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bills in the block go by for the day.
Page 42, House Bill 22. Auto Sears definition, prohibition on manufacture, importation, sale, etc., penalty.
Senator Sorovell.
Reported from the committee.
We've already
Courts of
moved.
Justice with the substitute, and from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
We've already moved the substitute. Senator Sorovell.
Madam President, I would move that House Bill 22 pass. And speaking of that motion.
We haven't done the sub yet.
He already moved
You
this.
said the sub's already been adopted, Madam President?
We did already do that. I have it here. All right. We shall do that again.
Okay.
The substitute.
I'd move the committee substitute.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to. Senator Surville.
Thank you, Madam President. House Bill 20, I move the bill pass and speak to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you. House Bill 22 is now identical to Senate Bill 210 by junior senator from Loudoun, which passed this body 28 to 12. The bill basically it codifies federal law at the state level to make these little gadgets they stick on pistols, which basically turn pistols into machine guns, illegal. It's already illegal under federal law. And again, we passed this 28-12. I would ask that we also pass this House bill that cognate.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 27, noes 13.
Ayes 27, noes 13. The bill passes.
House Bill 71, Combined Sewer Overflow Outfalls, Compliance with Regulations, Chesapeake Bay Watershed. Reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
The senior senator from Fairfax County, Senator Marsden.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the bill pass. And speaking to the measure.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. This bill merely extends from July 1st, 2025 to July 1st, 2026, the date by which certain combined sewer overflow outfalls that discharge into the Chesapeake Bay watershed must be in compliance with Virginia law, the Federal Clean Water Act, and the presumption approach described in the EPA CSO control policy, unless a higher level of control is necessary to comply with a total maximum daily load. And I reiterate my motion that the bill pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, noes 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. Bill, was that Rule 36-1?
Yeah.
Rule 36-1. The bill passes.
House Bill 173, Plastic Firearms and Unfinished Frames, etc., Manufacture, Import, etc., Prohibited Penalties. Reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice with the substitute and from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
Chair recognizes Senator Surville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd move I'd move the committee substitute first.
Question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to. Senator Surville.
I move the bill pass and speak to the motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. House Bill 173 is basically the bill that makes the manufactured possession of ghost guns a crime. The bill is now, as amended, identical to Senate Bill 100 by the senator from Alexandria, which passed both bodies. This passed the cognate passed the Senate 21 to 19. I would hope we could pass this bill so we can get this serious public safety risk at issue. These guns have been used in murders within my home jurisdiction of Fairfax County, many other places across the Commonwealth, and they ought to be illegal.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 21, noes 19.
Ayes 21, noes 19. The bill passes.
House Bill 175, Assault Firearms Carrying in Public Areas Prohibited Penalty. Reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice with a substitute and from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
Again, Senator Surville.
I move the committee substitute.
Question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to. Senator Surville.
Move the bill pass and speak to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. This is another bill on the senator from Alexandria's cognate parade. This bill makes it illegal to carry an assault rifle in public. In most circumstances, the cognate passed the Senate 21-19, and the substitute we just adopted makes the additional change that makes it clear that members of the VMI Cadet Corps and the ROTC at Virginia Tech are not covered by this bill. Other than that, it's identical to the bill that already passed 21-19. I'd hope we could pass it.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 20, noes 19.
Ayes 20, noes 19. The bill passes.
House Bill 183, firearms storage in residence where minor or person prohibited from possessing is present, penalty. Reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice with amendments and from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
Senator Surville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
I would move the committee amendments.
The question is, shall the committee amendments be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The committee amendments are agreed to. Senator Surville?
Thank you, Madam President. The bill as amended is now identical to Senate Bill 368.
The senators.
I move the bill pass and speak of that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you for keeping me straight, Madam President. The bill is now amended, makes this bill identical to Senate Bill 368 by the senator from Northern Fairfax, which passed both bodies. It passed the Senate, my notes say 2110, but I suspect it was 2119. This is the bill that makes it, places certain requirements on how to store firearms in homes when there's minor children present. And I would hope we could likewise pass this one.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 21, noes 19.
Ayes 21, noes 19. The bill passes.
Madam President, over here.
The junior senator from Enrico, Senator Van Valkenburg.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, having voted on the prevailing side by which we passed House Bill 175, I've moved that we reconsider that vote so everyone can vote.
The question is, shall the vote by which House Bill 175 was passed be reconsidered? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, noes 0.
Ayes 40, noes 0. The vote is reconsidered. Senator Surville.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that House Bill 175 pass, having been previously explained.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 21, noes 19.
Ayes 21, noes 19. The bill passes.
House Bill 362, firearms purchase, etc., following an assault and battery against an intimate or dating partner. Reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice with a substitute and from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
Senator Surville.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the committee substitute.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to. Senator Surville.
I move the bill pass and speak to the motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. House Bill 362 is identical to Senate Bill 642 by the junior senator from Loudoun. Otherwise, this bill is known as the bill that closed the dating or the boyfriend loophole. The bill passed, the cognate passed the Senate 21 to 19, and I'd hope we could likewise pass this one.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 21, noes 19.
Ayes 21, noes 19. The bill passes.
House Bill 454, firearm explosive material carrying within Capitol Square or building owned or leased by the Commonwealth. Reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
Again, Senator Surville.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the bill pass and speak to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, this bill is identical to Senate Bill 383 by the senator from Charlottesville. Passed this body 21 to 19, I believe, and this basically makes it, I think it was requested by the University of Virginia to make it possible for them to enact proper restrictions of firearms on college campuses, and having children who've attended those schools, including the school at issue here, I think it's an awesome idea, and I hope we can adopt the bill.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 21, noes 19.
Ayes 21, noes 19. The bill passes.
Going to page 54, House Bill 906, Public Utilities, Municipal Utilities, Disconnection of Service, Consumer Protections. reported from the Committee on Commerce and Labor with a substitute, and from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with a substitute.
Senator Aird, the senator from Petersburg. Senator Deeds, the senator from Charlottesville.
To yield to the senator from Petersburg. She's not in her seat, so I will.
Let the bill go by temporarily, or?
I can take care of the bill. I would ask you to adopt the substitute from the Committee on Commerce and Labor.
The question.
Yes.
The question is, shall the substitute from Commerce and Labor be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute from Commerce and Labor is agreed to.
And now I'll ask you to pass the bill.
Before we do that, Senator, the substitute from Finance and Appropriations is now out of order.
Right.
Senator Deeds.
Yes. Senator Aird was going to do this, and I apologize. This is...
Your motion, Senator.
I move that the bill pass. This is a bill
The senator may continue.
It's a cognate to a bill that she carried, Senate Bill 480, that has to do with disconnection of services, utility services, in certain situations. It passed the Senate, but I don't have the notes right now about the vote. But it did pass the Senate with a good vote, and it allows for or prevents the disconnection of services in certain emergency situations. Okay, it was 40-0. I apologize.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, noes 2.
Ayes 38, noes 2. The bill passes.
Page 57. House Bill 1174.
Senator Somerville.
Firearms age requirement for purchase penalty. Reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice with a substitute, and from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
Senator Somerville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the committee substitute.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to. Senator Somerville.
Move the bill pass and speak to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. This bill is similar to Senate Bill 327 by the senator from Central Fairfax, which passed the body 21-19. The substitute, I think, is now identical as the bill we've already passed, and on a 21-19 basis, I would hope we can do that too.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 21, noes 19.
Ayes 21, noes 19. The bill passes.
House Bill 1195, firearms waiting period for purchases penalty. Reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
Again, Senator Somerville.
Madam President, I move that House Bill 1195 pass. And speaking of that motion,
The senator has the floor.
1195 is the bill that has the 5-day waiting period for the purchase of a firearm. The bill is identical to Senate Bill 273 by the senior senator from Loudoun County, which passed this body 21-19. And I would hope we could pass this one as well.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 21, noes 19.
Ayes 21, noes 19. The bill passes.
Go to page 60. House Bill 1454, limited duration of limited duration licenses and driver privilege cards and permits extends validity.
Chair
Reported to
recognizes
the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
Senator McPike, the senior senator from Prince William.
Thank you, Madam President. Move that the bill pass. And speaking to the motion.
Senator has the floor.
This is the identical bill to my Senate version of the bill extending certain driver's license and limited duration driver's license and privilege cards extending to the same period of which normal everyday Virginian has, so it lines it up so it's a very consistent process and reduces our lines in the DMVs. This is an important initiative that's supported by Agribusiness Council and others to make sure that folks have driver's license appropriately and don't have to keep on coming back to the DMV, and move its passage.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 21, noes 19.
Ayes 21, noes 19. The bill passes.
Uncontested calendar, House bills on second reading.
Senator Sorovell, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Madam President, I move that all the House bills on second reading on the uncontested and regular calendars, pages 61 to 94, House Bill 66 through 1545, the rules be suspended and the second constitutional reading of the titles be dispensed with.
The question is, shall the rules be suspended and the second reading of the titles of House bills on the uncontested and regular calendars, pages 61 through 94, House Bill 66 through House Bill 1545 be dispensed with? All those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, noes 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The reading of the titles is dispensed with. Senator Sorovell.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that all those bills go by for the day.
The question is, shall the bills now on the uncontested and regular calendars on their third reading go by for the day? Those in favor of that motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. The bills will go by for the day. Senator Sorovell.
Returning to page 6, I'm sorry. Senate Bill 212.
Senator Rouse, the junior senator from Virginia Beach.
Thank you, Madam President. Having previously explained the conference report, and now members have had a chance to read it, I move passage of the bill. Adopt the conference report.
The question is, shall the Senate adopt the conference committee report on Senate Bill 212? Those in favor of adoption will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 31, noes 9.
Ayes 31, noes 9. The conference committee report is adopted.
On page 6, Senate Bill 344.
Senator Reeves, the senator from Orange.
Thank you, Madam President. I would make the recommendation that we accede to the House the conference report, or adopt the House conference report, and
I am not sure that the senator has explained the conference committee report. I think the senator was in the middle.
344. I'm sorry, Madam President. Takes us back to the Senate position when it originally passed, and I'd like to explain that.
The senator has the floor.
Madam President, this is a cleanup bill for charitable gaming. When we tightened down, when we found all the fraud last couple of years, we over-tightened a little bit too much. And one of the things we found was that some of our organizations were not able to do their charitable work that they really wanted to do, with being able to give some of the benefits of their organization out to the people that they're trying to help. The other thing we did was we left off the Marine Corps League out of a charitable organization. That's added back into the bill. Also, we've loosened the regulations with regard to how the use of proceeds of the bingo and the charitable games are utilized to allow them to put them to things such as real property and some of the expenses with regard to payroll. The last thing that the bill does is it allows a little bit more modern games to be played, but still keeping in with compliance with regard to charitable. Madam President, I ask that we adopt the conference report.
The question is, shall the Senate adopt the conference committee report? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The conference committee report is adopted. Senator Surville, senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Inquiry of the clerk. Does that complete the calendar?
Yes, sir.
Is there any other business to come before the Senate on this beautiful day? Hearing none, the clerk will report any announcements on the desk.
Today, the Senate Committee for Courts of Justice and House Committee for Courts of Justice will hold a joint meeting immediately upon adjournment of both the Senate and the House, which has now been accomplished, in House Room C for the purpose of conducting interviews for judicial candidates. Monday, March the 4th, the Committee for Courts of Justice will meet at 8:30 a.m. Senate Room A. The Committee on Local Government will meet at 10 a.m. Senate Room B. The Republican Caucus will meet 45 minutes before session, Senate Room 2. The Democratic Caucus will meet 30 minutes before session in Senate Room 1. Weekend weather report. Today, clouds and light rain by late afternoon. Widespread heavy rain will start in the evening and continue overnight. Saturday, clouds and light rain linger throughout the day. Sunday, mostly sunny and mild with temperatures in the mid-60s.
The senator from Portsmouth, Senator Luke.
Madam President.
I was too hasty. The junior senator from Virginia Beach, Senator Rouse.
Thank you, Madam President. I know we had a long Friday, but I would be remiss if I did not announce.
The purpose of the senator's rising.
Announcement, Madam President.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. I would be remiss if I didn't announce, while we did have fun at the basketball game, and that was, we had fun and we went out there and it was rough and tough, it was for a great cause. Last night, Madam President, we set a record amount for donations received for the Massey Cancer Center, $100,000. $100,000. So I want to thank all the donors and volunteers and members of this body and the members in the lower chamber as well, because this goes towards a good cause. So let's go higher next year, and we'll get the W. Thank you, Madam President.
Indeed, Senator. And now, Senator from Portsmouth, Senator Lucas.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that the Senate do now adjourn until 12 noon on Monday.
The question is, shall the Senate adjourn until 12 noon on Monday? Those in favor of that motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion agreed to. The Senate stands adjourned until 12 noon Monday.